do have several new board members, so for the benefit of them as well as the existing board members, I think it might be helpful to go around and do introductions of staff and the board members. So I'll start. I'm Trisha Logan. I've met you all. I'm the Historic Preservation Board Liaison, and go to Lena.
My name is Lina Fatila. I'm urban planner.
And then Jonathan.
I'm Jonathan D'Angelo with Urban Design Planning City.
Gabrielle Bush, Assistant City Attorney. All right, and then we'll start with the board. Shane, do you want to give us?
Sure. Shane Taylor, been on the board for a couple years.
And your
Fort Lauderdale.
background of your attorney?
Yeah, I work for a local law firm, so.
And you've been our vice chair for the past year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Patricia Rosemary.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Pat Rathburn. I'm obviously new. Although I think I was the chairman of this in the 90s before I was on it a long time ago. I'm an attorney as well, and been involved in historic stuff with the Historical Society and Broward Trust over the years.
My name's Ian Lowe. I'm a local business owner. It's my first meeting and happy to be here.
Thank you. And Christian?
I'm Christian Garay. I'm president of the Silver Bend Civic Association. I'm on the board of the Historic Fire and Safety Museum, local business owner, and been involved with my community and civically for about 8 years now.
Jonathan Keith, I've been on the board a little over a year. And I'm in construction and real estate.
Kim Roberts, I have been on the board almost a year, and I do it also.
Thank you. And we have two members that are not here tonight. Bob Golden, he fills kind of our historian aspect. I know he serves on the board of History Fort Lauderdale. And Alan Jones, who has worked in finance and is maybe one of our longer serving members on the HPB. So you guys, like as part of this nomination, typically you can start with the chair or vice chair. You can talk about who you think might be a good fit for either role. And then when you make a nomination, it just needs to be seconded and then voted on.
I know he's not here, but I think Alan would be a good chair. He's been on the.
That's so uncommon. That's how I became president of the Bar of Trust. I didn't show up at the meeting.
He's I don't know, he's the longest tenured board member. Always well prepared and has great thoughts. Communicates with the staff, so I'll let you guys.
You're not, you. I was gonna vote for Shane.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I mean, oftentimes it is the vice chair.
I mean, this is a wild card, but just hearing what we just heard,
Oh, no.
Patricia, well, I mean, she's done it before. I mean, been here before, knows. Welcome back. I think that would be a solid choice.
You guys have any thoughts?
As somebody that's just meeting everybody for the first time, it's very hard for me to select someone from out of the blue. So I'm trying to see what else everybody else goes with this.
Pat, what are your thoughts?
Who's the chair now? You.
No,
We don't have-
Arthur was, I guess he's no longer on the board.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a meeting since April, so. His last,
Start from scratch.
yeah, so.
Oh, I'd love to be in charge. So, it's whatever you guys, but that's put everybody in awkward positions. That's never met me before and has no idea. Other than Bob
We all
Golden,
met you
who,
at the same time.
yeah, yeah. I was on the board of the Historical Society with Bob Golden, so.
I mean, I feel the same almost as Ian. It's your first meeting, but just not even a year in a few months, and just from the introductions and what I've heard, I don't know. I thought that you sounded like a fit.
Do you want to make a motion?
Something you're interested in?
That
I would do it. I think it's a good, but yeah.
oh, so just
You just
motion.
have to make a motion to nominate.
I make a motion to nominate Patricia Rathburn as the chair of the Historic Preservation Society meeting.
And then is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Welcome.
Well, the good news is that at least I'm here. I've been elected in abstention so before, so this is at least it's my face, but thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Appreciate all you.
And she's also served on the BOA recently.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
on
great.
that for
Yeah.
years too.
Yeah, so, and then would you like to run the discussion about the vice chair?
Yeah.
Since I don't know anyone, who's the current vice chair?
I'm the current vice chair.
I think that there should probably be a nomination change. There's the.
Right.
Well. Yeah, I do think.
Yeah.
And after
doing
chair,
great.
you can't make a motion.
Right.
so.
Is it something that you're interested in?
Yeah, happy to do it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Sorry.
So I'll make a motion to nominate Shane Taylor for our vice chair at the Historical Preservation Board.
There's a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, there you go,
Perfect.
chair and vice chair.
Quick.
I'll help you along a little bit.
All right.
If you want.
Well, we have an agenda and, I don't. We're ready for item
The
1.
minutes.
Yes,
Oh,
so
the minute, yes, I'm sorry, I apologize. Always.
So- now we will actually do the pledge of allegiance first.
Oh, yeah.
In the minute. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. John Smith.
Minutes in the April
Yeah.
meeting were circulated. I obviously wasn't here, so or anything that needs to change minutes as circulated.
To refresh everyone's memory, we did a presentation at that meeting, so it wasn't, we actually didn't have any official items to vote on. And it was the last meeting for Tim and Rick. That was really it.
You looking for a motion to approve?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from April.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And then we have our first item on the agenda, which is a certificate of appropriateness for major alterations. It's for Broward County Main Library, and Lena is the case planner. Does anyone have any disclosures?
I had to disclose that I spoke to staff about it, about the agenda and the items on it.
Any other disclosures? Or been to the site?
Yeah.
I'm in the library.
I drive by it every day.
All right. And we will start with the staff report. So Lena will give a brief overview of the staff report, and then we'll have the applicant provide an introduction.
So this is case number UDP HP 26009. Certificate of appropriateness for later alterations, Broward County Main Library Plaza repair and restoration. The plaza is, the library is located at 100 South Andrews Avenue, and it was built in 1984 by prominent local architect Robert Betzinger. He was inspired by modernist design, and this the building itself and plaza has features of modernist building architecture. This specific certificate of appropriateness proposes improvements only to the plaza, not to the building itself. And if a few years before, in 2021, we had similar application with the same site, but it was significantly changed since then. So we decided to put it on agenda this time again because of these changes and just go over all the proposed updates. So the scope of work under this certificate of appropriateness is limited to improvements within the main library plaza and does not include alterations to the historic building. And compared to the previous approval, these plans prioritize the repair and preservation of existing historic materials over replacement. Because in the previous application, there were many replacements and design alterations, but in this one, it's basically cleaning, restoration, landscaping. They will improve accessibility, add more lighting, and just improve some safety and visitor experience. This is, I just put some photos for you to remind you how the plaza looked before. This is on the left, this is the picture of plaza when it was just constructed. And on the right side, its current condition. I did site visit with architects, project managers, so we see current condition of the plaza. You can see that it's at where it is, and it was closed for many years, so it's time for refreshment, repairment, and restoration. So I'll just go over some areas of work, then so first, it's site materials. So in this proposal of site materials such as concrete pavers, concrete bands, and other elements will be remain in place, and only damaged or missing units will be replaced using those materials that are existent or that are safe. They will use pressure washing and sealing to clean existing pavers, and basically that's all they propose for plaza. This picture, I put it here to show you the difference between the existing condition of the bollard. It's a concrete original detail from the original side. And to the left, you can see the element that was pressure washed. So you can see that it looks much better and cleaner. Just as an example of scope of work. They are doing a lot of landscaping improvements, and one of the area where the major alterations happening is the upper tier seating of the terrace. The seating will be replaced with planters, and they will replace existing trees, black olive trees with black ironwood trees. And they will replace existing tree gates, which are made of metal. And you can see the picture also, they are damaged because of the trunks. And so they will replace them with synthetic rubber material. And some of the trees will be either removed or relocated, refreshed, and so there is a lot of work with landscaping on this side. New trees are proposed along the west property line adjacent to the Andrews Avenue, and along the northern property line adjacent to the Women's Club. So they are trying to restore the connection between two sides, the existing library and Women's Club, as it used to be before. So then they are doing a lot of work with lighting and electrical improvement. So lighting design have been substantially expanded. New pole lighting is proposed along the west side of the plaza. Then they will preserve existing bollards, concrete bollards that used as safety like gates at the front of the site, and they also work as lighting. So they will preserve them and retrofit with energy efficient LED fixtures. they will also add some new lighting fixtures along the plaza. You can see the picture of the proposed design. Also, they are building new ADA accessible concrete ramp, which will connect the upper and lower plaza levels. It's on the to the left from the pool. So where the stairs now, so they will build a concrete ramp. And they will just repair and improve existing stairs. Then the stairs that are connecting side with the women's club will be also restored and rebuilt. They will also replace bike racks. I don't know if you can see them, but it will be a similar design, just new design. I mean, not new design, new structure. They will also replace handrails across the side. So you can see the railings they have right now. They will replace them with similar design. The major thing with this improvement works is the proposal to simplify structure of the existing pool system. So the architect, he saw this pools as a chain of interconnected water bodies that they started inside the building and flow into the outside. So it was like his vision of connection between interior and exterior of the building. Now they propose to close the main pool. This is like that green area. Yes, so that pool will be separated, and it's because of safety concern and engineering concerns, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's kind of part of structural improvement. But the existing waterfall pool, which is on the left, it will stay the same. They will just replace tile with similar tiles, and waterproofing. Then the pool, which is the main pool, will be significantly reduced in depth. So it will be only 4 inches at the perimeter and 4 inches at the drain. And there will be just a tiny level of water. It's just 2 inches. And the reason, as I understood, is just safety concerns, and they will use this pool for events and stuff.
Currently 4 feet.
Yeah, it's
Partly 4.
so it's significantly, yes, it's different. You can see on these pictures how the original like architecture was designed. You see they are connected. So this is the beginning of the pool. It's inside the library, and it goes outside, close larger pool. So now they will be disconnected to because they
No,
did
I mean,
something.
ultimately it
Yes.
will remain like visibly the same from a viewpoint, but
Mhm.
the depth being decreased does create a better safety position for the library where, you know, having less water in the pool at a lower depth for someone to potentially go inside of. That, you know, it assists in that regard. And a lot of this project is maintenance and just cleaning up the entire site to make it more usable and to provide more programming. Make it an active space again. So that's primarily it, and we'll have the applicant.
The
come up after.
applicant will have more comments.
I don't think it's gonna.
But it's
It's less dangerous, the 4 feet is deep for like a public.
It's
I don't think that's not.
yeah. The pools are gonna look the same, but they're not gonna be connected in here. That's correct? They're gonna look the same except they're shallower.
So under that bridge, they will be disconnected.
Okay. Than it used to be.
Mhm. And overall, the proposal reflects a more preservation oriented approach than the original application from 2021. It will repair and restore existing historical materials on the site. It presents minimizing replacement, maintaining the existing site footprint, which is important for us, and original modernist character of the plaza. The approach is consistent with the recommendations outlined in the Historic County Library and Plaza Historic Preservation Plan that was presented to the board in 2020, and the staff recommendations provided by Historic Preservation staff for the case UDP HP 21-025 back in August 2021. So overall, this project meets our criteria. We just have some recommendations or conditions for approval. We would recommend any rehabilitation work involving pressure cleaning, utilize effective non-destructive cleaning methods appropriate for the historic materials to remove atmospheric soiling. We would recommend any replacement, reconstruction, or rehabilitation of existing site elements, including but not limited to trees, tree grades, handrails, replacement mosaic tiles, boards, and concrete platters shall incorporate design that recall the original scale, materiality, and visual character of the historic features. The proposed ADA accessible ramp and associated improvements shall be designed to minimize visual impacts and remain compatible with the modernist character of the plaza, including matching the textured concrete found on the existing site. And application is subject to the approval of zoning, building, and all ULDR requirements, including landscape.
And then we have the applicant here, Elton Anderson from Allen County, and the architect Sheffy Devier from Salt and Michelson, who can, we can feel free to come up, introduce yourselves, and provide any additional information.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Dever with Salt and Michelson Architects, Senior Project Manager and Shareholder. I'll start with the pool to clarify it a little bit. The pool, the waterfall feature of the pool will remain the same. It's going to be clean, new tile, and be spruced up quite a bit. The area under the bridge is actually going to end up being a collection for the water in the main pool. In the main pool, we're going to build a weir wall on the north side of the bridge so the water flows into the area under the bridge. So they are connected. The water is connected. The pool itself is, but the water will be. And the main pool will be an 8-inch step along the perimeter. And the intention is 2 inches of water at the perimeter and 4 inches at the main drain. The reason for all that is the library wants to be able to, I guess originally I wasn't involved in the project when it started, but originally they wanted a place for performances of some sort. They wanted to bring, I guess, groups, musical groups, maybe other library appropriate kind of items, and really use the plaza. The plaza, like you said, the plaza's been closing for years, and basically we don't know why. So the pool, somebody comes in every time it rains, they come and empty it. It's still full. So originally they had a platform that was going to go in the middle of the pool. There was a moat that was going around it. That's what was originally approved. And after further consideration, since the project was kind of dragging on for a while, county or the library decided they didn't really like that approach. So getting rid of the platform in the center brings the whole design back to the way it looks now. So that's where we're at with the pool. All the tile, well, obviously the main pool is going to be rebuilt at a much shallower area, and the pool is going to be covered in tile that pretty much matches what's there now. I have a couple samples. You can see. Originally, well, the first go around was going to be glass, but no one was walking in the pool. Now the idea is if they empty the water and use it for a performance, you don't want glass tile, people walking on it, slipping and falling. So that's the pool. And just to clear up something also, so visually, it looks like the water goes inside the attic side. It's actually two pools. It's two completely separate systems. So in the process of the pool, we're replacing all the equipment, all new equipment. The existing equipment is in an underground bunker of sorts. That's going to be eliminated, and it's going to be a sophisticated pump station that's partially underground, and it'll be raised maybe 2 feet from that sort. It's fiberglass, it'll raise up so you can get into it. It'll be big enough somebody can actually get into it. Top open, and it's going in the same location of the existing piping. We're hoping to be able to maybe reuse piping, confirm that it's still valid, and then it'll have landscape. And part of the process when I took it over, I went out there, looked at everything, and my first question was, why is the paving being replaced? There's nothing wrong with it. And why is the concrete being replaced? There's a few places that concrete has been cracked and that's been replaced like kind. And so everybody bought into my questions and agreed with me. So that's what we're going to do. We're really going to restore the plaza. Part of the issue was to up a few planters right now. Well, there's seeds and planters, and the trees that are in them are black olive. Back in the 80s, black olive were the thing. They, they came on the scene, I don't know, 70s, like 60s. Everybody thought they were wonderful, and they destroyed those seating areas. So they're falling apart literally. So that's getting totally demolished and then rebuilt, but they're going to be rebuilt as planters with smaller trees, much smaller trees. The other black olives on the property are going to remain. And there's most of the other trees will remain. We tried even looking into replacing some of the sable palms are 40 years old, so they're near the end of their life. And our community likes to, 4-hour environment. All the trees on the west side will remain. We're going to add more trees along the sidewalk of Andrews, and a couple more trees. The library wants to leave the grass area open so they can show movies in the summer and that sort of thing. And then we're adding, replacing existing light poles and adding more light so that the plaza can be lit, the entire plaza can be lit. Very tasteful light poles. And the ramp, the handicap ramp we're adding is coming from the west down to the main plaza level. Right now it's only accessible by steps or going through the library. There is a ramp on the east side. We we thought it was better that the ranch be a different material than the terrazzo, so that it was obvious it was a ramp. So that's why we have drawn it that way. Let's see, tree grates. Tree grates and existing grates are, I guess they're steel, they're in bad shape, they need to be replaced in any event. And I guess the industry is kind of getting away from that style of tree grate and going to plastic or whatever material it is, so that can't even, you don't see it great. It's probably a little safer overall as the tree grows. It's not popping up and causing some problems. So that's why we're going that route. But overall, when it's all done, hopefully we expect it's gonna look pretty much the way it did when it was finished. Oh, and then one other thing we're doing is the bridge. We're adding some supports under the bridge, just to make sure that nothing ever happens. It's for installed concrete deteriorates exposed to the weather.
Alright. Now, typically what we do is open it up to public comment, and then you can bring it back to the applicant or the board for any questions, discussion. So,
Is there any member of the public that wants to speak on this item? No? All right.
I love it.
No. Board for questions of the applicant.
I guess the only thing I would add, like, when is this proposed to start? I don't think I saw it.
As soon as possible.
Okay.
It's been bid, it's ready to go. We have a contractor. This actually is the last thing on the permit list to get resolved. And we were a little disappointed that there was no quorum last month.
Okay.
And then we understand there's supposed to be a 30-day,
7 business days.
7 business days.
It's changed, yeah.
Oh, okay, so let's.
After that, then we would be able to sign up on any permit. With the first.
Thank you. That's something.
So I only saw outside. Is there anything happen on the inside?
No, not as part of this project. There's nothing. But I'm.
Oh, I had a third one question. There's a monolith. My name on that in the plaza. Does that say? I mean, there really is. A monolith.
Oh, is there? Oh.
Yeah. It was a gift from the Historical Society in the 90s, and it had the list of the Board of Trustees, and I've never seen it.
Was it what, a placard in the?
No, it's a huge piece of concrete. It's a statue. Bob Tuthill designed it, and it was built. Unless they've removed it.
Yeah. Do you know where?
Yeah, it's
Do you see it in the pictures?
I don't see it in the pictures. That's why I was asking about it. And you know, because
bike rails?
no, it's over like the pathway that runs from Andrews Avenue to and there's planters and trees.
So this,
Uh,
so this,
sort of would be
and
no, further.
Oh, yeah.
correct.
It's out there. I mean, it literally is this big giant piece of concrete that was designed at the time to go with the brutalist nature of the building or whatever it was.
Don't remove.
We'll find it.
I want that to stay.
It's an interesting architecture.
It was extremely interesting at the time because we were all like, that's what we built, but it went with the building, yeah. Pressure wash. Any other questions from the board members?
I have a question. Is there a significant difference in cost with keeping the metal rates, these?
No, not really. I mean, there's only gonna be those palm trees around the pool, and then there's one other tree.
It's part of the design, right? It's part of the historic look.
And if the metal can be cleaned.
Right, I'd like to see that safe.
It's actually solid metal, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's dented at all. It's just probably just needs to be.
But how does it like sit there now that the roots have grown in a way?
Removing the trees, placing them smaller, so.
So, sorry, maybe clarify, where are they replacing the metal grates with the rubber?
There are five, there's
The sable palms around the
palm
pool.
trees around the pool. One of them's gonna get relocated in the corner, and then there's, so there are grates on those, and then there's one location near the pool. It's in the same line as the west upper tier, but it's not in the upper. Exactly, it's not in the plan, let's put it that way, the back tree upgrade. That's in the plaza.
That answer your question. Not,
It's not a lot, I know the difference. My question is, when it comes to, because I see the comment here from the city forest recommendations or what they'd like to be. Part of that includes those grates, whether if it can be cleaned up and restored. When we go to vote, because this is my first one, I'll need to be educated. There is the option of approval, denied, or approved with conditions. When do we add that condition if possible?
So during the motion, you would say to include the conditions that are outlined in the staff report. With like, if you want to modify anything or take anything out, you say, I just want to include conditions 1, 3, and 4, but then not include 2, or 1, 3, and 4 as written, but 2, I want to adjust it to read this way instead. So you can take that as part of the.
I guess on that with those grapes, I mean, obviously they're popped up because of the roots, but with the trees coming out, is there any reason to put the new rubber ones in and not use those? Like,
Wait, maybe we can clarify this. Not all the trees are being removed. There are some that are staying that you're replacing the grates for, correct? Or is that incorrect?
No, the within the plaza, the trees that are staying do not have grate.
Okay.
Well, other than the ones around the pool, other than those 6.
So those are the ones that we're replacing the grate.
Palms stay. And then there's one black olive that gets replaced that has grate.
The black olives that are being removed, what's going where those trees were?
Just the one black olive, correct?
Planters?
So you're saying?
No, there's no, all the black olives along the west side of the pool itself and the north side of the pool itself are being replaced. They're
And the tables are being replaced as well, correct?
They're huge.
And what's going in their place?
Black ironwood, is that one?
And those are the sables are gonna.
They're gonna put new trees where.
Well, they're not stable,
Little.
those are.
Little palms,
So there will still be trees. maybe.
correct.
There'll be trees, but they're in planter, so they won't have.
Okay.
So realistically, we're just talking about the one black olive tree with the grate. That, because.
There'll be no black.
That's
No
no
black
planter as well.
olives with the grate.
I'm sorry, but
In the plaza.
so we're not making, you're gonna make planters for these and not using the grates anymore at all, is what you're saying, I think.
In the two areas.
So I think there are gonna be some that they're replacing these grates with this like rubber texture. They have done it like on Andrews Avenue.
I kind of partially like the metal grates.
Yeah,
Or the rubber playground look.
I tend to agree with you, although I do appreciate the flexibility so that in 10 years, the grates aren't looking like this again, and then the city takes another 20 years to fix it. The county.
There's only 6 grates, correct? Am I right in saying that?
Right now, there are a lot of grates.
Oh, there are a lot of, okay, sorry, I thought.
But we're only.
Because this is the area that this, yeah, this area is getting replaced and this area is getting replaced. Which that's there. So these two were basically it's these precast sides, we'll call it. There's some rough concrete underneath these pavers, and then in between the trees, the black olive trees, with a 4x4 grate. So the black olives along here and here are coming out, and that's just going to be a planter. It's going to go back in with a poured concrete to look like the same with the pieces, but everything inside is coming out, and be the trees and then some other low bushes, that sort of thing. And that's here and here. The one black olive with the grade, I think is this one. Very you'll see.
That's them, yeah.
On the other side of the walk, up against where the yard is, those black olives remain. Just the ones that are here that are basically destroyed.
Yeah.
These are in the grass, so they don't.
There's gonna be two, in this plan, there would be two with grates, rubber grates.
No, there'll be 6 trees
Rubber
with rubber grates. The 5 triangle palms around the pool, and then 1 back on.
And you said the palms are at the end of their lifespan already as well.
Not the triangle in the corner. At the plan, yeah. This area has got a lot of those are nearing their lifespan, and initially we asked replacing them for everywhere. So, and these are black olives that are staying, and then anything off site is whatever it is, and we're adding some other plant. This is where we're adding some
On the sidewalk.
different trees and a few over here, kind of framing this grass area.
So the palms on the pool itself are staying, they're just
They stay.
replacing the grates.
Another question, why are we adding the planter instead of just recreating what was there before,
Adding which?
the planters? Where the black olive trees are along the sitting area.
You're talking about here.
Mhm.
This one's a planter, this was a sitting area, and we just felt it was better. Nobody really uses it. So part of the problem with the way it was designed and constructed, with these black olive trees placed how far apart they are in essentially a 4x4 space. No root barriers or anything like that. And the top of those planters, they then poured concrete, put in pavers. So there was no place for the roots to go. And so over time, basically the roots have knocked down. And when you remove one of the precast pieces, you can see the roots just running along. And it pretty much destroyed this piece and this piece. So the decision was made not to put it back exactly the way it was, put trees back where they were, but just turn them into planters, not to put in concrete, allow whatever plants go in the planters, have enough room to grow how they need to grow, and to go with smaller trees. You even batted around, and somebody mentioned live oak. I said, no, you're not helping anything. You know, it's a better tree, but not in that kind of situation.
was an option presented where you maintained the same look that existed originally without the above
The
ground
only
planters?
difference would be pavers, and the pavers have to have some material to sit on. And typically, you don't want to put pavers just on soil to make them last. Otherwise,
Wait, so
they'll start.
I know that the black olive, is that similar to what's on La Solis?
It
That's
is-
being
it is
ripped
what
up?
it's on
That's
Solis.
above ground, that's why we're tearing down the trees.
Yeah.
So is there a I'm wondering if there's a different tree that can be planted that doesn't have
Well, that's what.
destructive roots like this, but you can maintain the original look versus the above ground planters.
That I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
But, cause I don't know exactly what the black ironwood looks like, but it's obviously, I would think it's not anywhere near the size of black olive. Or say a live oak. Cause black olives are just, they're 40 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet tall. Sitting in this little planter, so. The ironwood is a smaller tree. That's the whole point.
Any other from the applicant?
Excuse me, I need to add something. My name is Elton Anderson. I'm the construction project manager for this project, County. And with regard to planters for the trees and the tree grates, we certainly not have any issue with using metal tree grates instead of the fiber rubberized material. We would have to, then the grates would have to be redesigned now to meet the width of the design, circumference, I should say, of the trees that are presently there. That's what would happen. With regard to the planters and how we would correct that issue, what happened was the architect, along with the constraints of the Broward County Environmental Group with the trees, decided which things we could do, the options we had available in order to satisfy the requirements of the environmental issues. And so some of those things you can't do this, you can't do that. And so what finally was resolved with the architect was that maybe we'll have to replace these areas where the trees were planted in these little constrained areas that resist the expansion of the roots, and perhaps match that with, and because it destroyed the concrete anyway, so now you gotta, let's match what was over here on the one side, the same side, and then give the roots there the freedom to move and adjust wherever they need, and the look is still the same with regard to everything else that's there. But it really, it only changed the idea of the one side and the way it was constructed to match the other side, the way it was constructed. And so the look would still, it would look the same, but it just now it's a more solid cast in place concrete area that contains the landscaping and the growing items in the area. So that's why that changed significantly. But again, the facing of the planters, if you will, they'll be matched with the precast concrete that we already have there. So we're not removing or changing any of that. And so that's why we continue with the likeness of what is currently there, and making that look as though it was the same original design.
I just want to clarify something. There is existing printer, right here, right? So it will be matching, so this new
It'll-
design will match the
Yeah, it'll
existing
match this
printer.
one. This is a raised
Yeah.
planter. Poured concrete.
So it will continue
And
existing,
Okay.
yeah.
they're not-
In the report,
Is there, just because of all of this, like, I mean, and I don't know where this comes in with like the historic preservation and the environmental and all of that. But there's a lot of like shallow root palms. I mean, I don't know why we have to use some type of tree that's gonna grow roots or the planters, like we have access to tons of palm trees that have shallow roots.
Well, again, the environmental group responsible for tree maintenance and
Yeah.
that in the county, their requirements were restricted. They said, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so when questions were brought up again, like replacing one type of palm with another type of palm, those items were rejected by the environmental review group. And so we had to go with another selection from the choices that they gave us. That's how we got to
Got
this.
to where you were.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe to help, this concrete planter has black olives and it's intact. It's poured concrete
Because it was restricted,
because it was,
Yeah.
and so the roots, I guess, were forced to go deep.
yeah.
Sometimes the charm is, any other questions for the applicant or any other comments among the board members and discussion? Michelle?
Did we already do public comment?
Yeah, we did, we have to close the
Yeah.
public hearing part of it.
Yeah, there's no further discussion and it's really up to the board to make a motion.
So the staff responses to the various sections of the ULDR that deal with this. It looks like first three, the staff feels that it has met the criteria. The last one was dealt with the tree growth, and so that was the reason for the request only partially meeting the criteria. And the conditions that are in the staff summary conclusion are things that you would like to have included within any motion, is that correct?
There are suggestions from staff to include, the applicant, has talked about the, issues with the tree grates,
Right.
but where possible, everything should match the existing or be as close to as possible in the materials, and some of that gets further specified within the construction drawings. And then I think the applicant also responded to proposed condition number 3 with the ADA ramp, as far as what their intent was in using the materials. So it's ultimately up to the board if you agree with the applicant proposal as it stands with the existing material of concrete rather than the matching the texture. So
Yeah, what color is the ramp? I'm like, you said you're gonna paint the ramp?
Paint the ramp? No, it's a
No,
little
Oh,
ramp.
it's just gonna be a different
Concrete.
material. Understood.
just smooth concrete.
Oh,
Concrete.
okay.
So again, if the board agrees with that condition to make it textured or not, if you're okay with accepting what the applicant has provided as part of their proposal with smooth concrete, then you wouldn't necessarily include that condition. And then the fourth condition is just generally standard in all approvals.
So realistically, we're looking at 1, 2, and 4. 3 seems like it's,
Right, if you agree.
So the form of a motion is that it approve the certificate of appropriateness for this based on the staff recommendation the testimony given by the applicant with the inclusion of conditions 1, 2, and 4 of the staff report. And then if there's an issue with respect to the rates, then let's throw that into any motion. But is that the format for how you move forward with
Correct.
this?
Yeah, and the very last paragraph of the staff report kind of gives you a little bit of guidance as far as making that motion.
It's not on this one.
It is
I looked at it on this
on the bottom.
Oh, is it not?
It's on the bottom of here.
Oh,
It's at the bottom of this.
But more or less what.
So-
Yes.
Are we putting in a motion for us to, or are we adding a condition of the trees or the grading, or what do we?
That's up to you all, how, you know, if you feel strongly that they should try to use where, I think I would say where possible instead of making it a mandate, because there may be some environmental reason that we're not aware of, but I agree with you that it looks better.
I mean, there's 6 of them, I'm hoping.
Yeah,
They could get
so-
those, or 6 that should be left from what I.
How to phrase that with the, if at all possible, I mean, that leaves a lot of leeway for them, I don't know what the city attorney feels, it's loosey goosey, it's not enforceable. But it's, if that's the representation that wherever possible, they can replace it with metal grates, similar to the ones that are there.
I'd also like to say that, like, for the 3rd item, I understand the idea of poured concrete, smooth concrete, as a way to make it clear that it's a ramp. But I think that if they could do the textured concrete, I mean, you're gonna see it's still a ramp, and it still helps keep the entire environment cohesive in the look, versus having something that clearly stands out. Because if I'm not mistaken, what 3 is asking is essentially use textured concrete to match the surrounding area versus a smooth floor.
Understand.
Right.
Please.
Looks like textured concrete is terrazzo.
It's smooth and slippery when it rains.
Pardon?
Smooth and slippery when it rains.
No, it's terrazzo built or installed for exterior surfaces, so it's rough.
Sorry, are you saying it's tile?
No,
No, it's
no,
right.
it's poured terrazzo. No, it's poured
Or
terrazzo.
exterior
It's-
terrazzo.
The exterior terrazzo.
Concrete, almost like a.
And that's that
Like
diamond
coquina.
pattern you see. The ramp, while it starts in the terrazzo, then goes down into the plaza where there is no terrazzo, it's all papered. So that also, I think, influenced a little bit why we just went. When we're trying to match all the materials already on the plaza, we're going with one of the materials that's prevalent on the plaza.
Oh, thank you.
So the current design, we have the terrazzo there and the beginning of the ramp is where we start the. Right. So you still see on the horizontal area
This is terrazzo.
ahead of the ramp. Then you still see that, but then when the ramp starts, you see the concrete. That's where the concrete comes down. And that matches what is at the level of the main plaza area.
Okay, so is there a motion? This item,
Motion to approve with conditions.
you don't get away with it.
No, motion to approve with conditions, I read out all of them, I guess.
Well, if you wanna include the ones that are in the summary conclusion, you could say 1, 2, and 4, if that's what you feel like. And then if there are additional conditions, reflecting, I believe it's the ULDR section 472411 D3C2, with respect to the metal grates that are around the trees, that the applicant has agreed, if possible, to replace those with like metal grates, if at all possible.
Reuse. Yeah, so
Replace, reuse or replace.
vote to approve with conditions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the fifth one,
Not three.
not 3, I thought we were gonna talk about that was gonna,
Almost.
3 is the, 3 is the,
Didn't we?
we're fine with the
was we
smooth
fine with the
concrete.
ramp? I mean, I'm okay with the ramp.
Yeah, I kind of like the applicant's point that the ramp be a different material so that it's obvious that it's ramp.
Your motion.
Read that whole thing. Okay, so motion to approve the resolution for a certificate of appropriateness for a major alteration under case number UDP HP 26009 located at 100 South Andrews Avenue based on the following findings. It meets the criteria, so 1, 2, 1, 2, and 4, adding a fifth that if they can reuse the grates or replace the grates if needed with metal grates and trying to stay in the same historic side of the library itself. That would,
Yeah, is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, there's first and second. Do we do a roll call or?
Yep.
Well, I mean, or all in favor, I don't know
Okay,
how they
all in
work.
favor?
Okay, all in favor,
I,
opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
they said area,
okay, like, when are you starting it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
next to that area, my whole life.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's been closed off to the public for so long, because it was really nice. Yeah.
Right, that's-
I mean, it literally is a giant piece of concrete. That says, because that's where, and I don't know if these are still there, but there were bronze plaques in sidewalk.
Yeah, they're still there.
Those are still there, and that was when we dedicated those bronze plaques in the sidewalk to various historical events that had happened in Fort Lauderdale, like the coming of the FEC Railway, the Stranahan store, and first school for whatever. So there was designed to be throughout all of downtown Fort Lauderdale these bronze plaques set in the sidewalk commemorating historic events, and at a certain point it just sort of got abandoned as a project, but it does go around part of the library, and that's where the monolith.
First.
Yeah, but on the sidewalk in front of the library is where it starts, and that's where the monolith is.
Probably so.
Yeah, and under those trees, it's probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to certificate of appropriateness for new constructions for a 2-story single-family residence on a vacant lot in Sailboat Bend for UDP HP 26010. Start with the applicant.
We'll start with the staff report.
Staff report, okay.
So this request is for certificate of appropriateness for new construction of a 2-story single-family residence on in the Sailboat Bend Historic District. The address of this the case number is UDP HP 26010. Address is 351 Southwest Veterans Way. So this property is located in a very interesting and unique place. There are several modernist architecture residences that historically were built there by local architect William Bibney. He also built the police station, which now is demolished and reconstructed. So this area is known in Sailboat Bend as this like corner of modernism architecture, and the project that is proposed today is also like following this tradition for this corner of Sailboat Bend Historic District. The applicant, so first of all, in September 2023, there was another application for the same location, same parcel for new construction, and it was for 1-story single family residence in the same place. It was also built in this like mid-century modern design. It was approved, but now we will review a new application for the same property, and it kind of continues or this design approach. The applicant proposes construction of a new two-story single-family residence containing approximately 8,500 square feet on a 17,941 square foot waterfront parcel within the Southern Historic District. The primary facade fronts southwest 14th Way, and the rear of the property faces the New River. So we consider it like as a double facade building. And the architect of record, Manuel Rodriguez, he describes this architecture as this design as mid-century tropical modern design. So the building meets all requirements in terms of setbacks, the height of the building, in the staff report, I'm just highlighting some features, architectural features, design elements that make this building unique. Basically, the building has pretty big geometrical structure. It has a flat roof with broad overhangs, which is typical for mid-century modern architecture. It has different levels, which breaks the massing of the building. So despite of the scale of this structure, it looks pretty like organic in this setting because of the large setbacks and these elements that are breaking into like separate forms. The building, the main features, large floor-to-ceiling windows, fenestration pattern, smooth stucco wall surfaces, which contrast with materials such as like textured stucco or composite wood or stone. So it makes this more like naturally looking design, and it has exterior galleries, terraces, stairs, so it has like multi-level, multi-layered structure. I just want to say that this structure, this project, the overall design and proposal, it meets our criteria. It complies with dimensional standards of the RS8 zoning district where it's located, and it responds to the immediate context, which, as I said, it's like inspired or influenced by modernist design of William Bigany. And despite of this scale of the building, its massing is articulated through distinct volumes, setbacks, recessed areas, and layered outdoor spaces that reduce its perceived scale. It's generally consistent with the historic preservation design guidelines and material guidelines, but there are a few comments that we made in the staff report that, for example, the sliding windows in the rear of the property, they are not permitted per se in South Bend Historic District, and it's up to the board to approve this element in the rear of the building, which is facing the New River. And also the garage doors, we have a specific requirement in South Bend which limits the width of the garage doors to 9 feet in width, and here we have larger doors. But the way how it's structured, so the garage is facing interior of the site, not the not facing the public right of way, so we probably can approve it as it was proposed. And basically, those are the major concerns that we have in regards to this proposal. We also would recommend them to provide screening for the air conditioning equipment and pool equipment. It is required by ULDR, not just the relevant design and material guidelines. And also they have to provide, probably apply for additional certificate of appropriateness for any future modifications, for example, gates or fences, anything else, because this was included into this application. That's and also this property is located in archaeological zone, and when they applied for the certificate of appropriateness back in 2023, the architectural survey, archaeological survey was made back then, so they didn't find anything significant on that lot, but we would still recommend the owner and just monitor any findings, anything that found during the construction. So we just recommend to be cautious about this. And also this application is subject to the approval of building zoning and ULDR requirements, including landscaping.
And I'll just add Lena expressed, this particular lot is in a specific unique location within the open historic district. So the type of design that was formulated by the architect was in response to that context, which is what we're looking for in a new construction project, to be compatible within the specific context in which it's located, not necessarily saying it's not matching the architecture, 6 blocks away. It's matching the architecture and responding to the architecture that's within its immediate vicinity. So I just wanted to further respond to that. And then the architect and the property owners are here. I'm sure Manuel wants to also give a brief introduction of the project.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Manuel Rodriguez. I'm the head of 7.5 Design Studio. We're based in Miami, the project record office. You get the great explanation you had. The first thing we did was really visit the site and visit the street. That was the most important thing that we did. When we did this, we were happily surprised because the street itself started really paving the way for this design style that we wanted to create. And then, in a sense, even though the house it's a larger scale, the idea was always to portray this as a modern tropical mid-century home and bringing that into this project. Obviously, our clients are trying to maximize their rentability, but one of the things that they've understood is when we spoke that we were going to do something that had a character to it, and it was part of the design of the street and of the historical area. So that was one of the reasons why the house, obviously, we went for the style, the massing itself, which was very well described. You see this, it's a U-shaped house, but the scale, the two elements that go towards the street actually just gives it a more of it brings it more into the context, even though the house is set back. And then you have this, this tall element in the middle that brings you out to the roof terrace. But at the same time, it mimics the typical mid-century architecture. This is, we can go and see examples of this throughout Florida, throughout Fort Lauderdale, and it's really something that it's a style that is it would always be in vogue. It will always be something that people will relate to, and I think will blend very well with the street and everything that's there. I can't say what other people are doing, but this house itself, and hopefully we get to be in front of you again, will always be very sensitive to what is here and what we can bring to the table.
Yeah. And do you want to open it up for public hearing? Sure.
there any members of the public who'd like to speak on this?
Should we say something or?
It's up to you.
You as the property owner. Public
Yeah,
comment.
to come up to-
Yeah, I mean, we're good. If you guys have any questions, we're the owners, we're also the developers, but we trust, yeah, we trust. Miguel.
Okay, alright, so bring it back to the board. Let me ask you something, Tricia, this street, the big, houses that were on it. We don't have any pictures of those, that would have been helpful in the staff report, I think.
There's some in the start of the presentation. Perhaps we should add in more, but there, right, when we drove, it was hard to get in there and take some good pictures.
How many are left?
Because,
It's in the,
okay, I think,
It seems like they're, sorry, if
I think, wasn't it, 'cause I remember,
Begoni at the end of the street is the prime example.
right, because there was something, and Tricia, my memory is sort of vague on this, but it was, they wanted to move one of the structures because they wanted to tear, the guy who bought the one, if that wasn't you, was it? The guy that bought one of the houses next to it was willing to keep the bigamy, right?
yeah.
He was willing to keep that if it could be moved, and there was a whole thing about it being moved
He's
and,
actually kept it, it will stay in place.
okay.
So there are 3 remaining big structures
Okay.
on the street.
And my recollection, I know I must have attended that because I didn't know this, is that part of his design was a lot of landscaping.
It's like the outdoor indoor living.
Right.
So, you know, being able to kind of go from the indoors to the outdoors seamlessly.
Right,
Like his own personal property is on the end of the street on the north side. And one of the features of the design is a glass floor that you can see the tide come in and go back out. And it's still retained, an architect lives in the home
right.
now, so there's just more of like the tropical type of elements that help with circulation of air and
Are
the
those-
shade.
Street.
Those are, yeah, because I think what you said was very important, that this doesn't meet the typical house that you think about South Bend being, but it does meet this particular street, this particular architect's
Right.
style, so.
If this were proposed on another street,
Right,
probably have different comments about it
right,
from the staff point of view.
It is in that area with the police station all brand new and all that area, that street itself is a lot of newer construction.
Yeah, there's 3 lots that are on the water side too, that this board approved new construction for like last year, I think.
Okay.
that was just a question I had about.
Sure.
Question, it says like so like this is going to come back to the board again for fencing and all this after the construction is done.
So if they have fencing that does not meet our requirements that we can approve as staff, then they would have to come to the board, but we do have the ability to approve like fencing in the rear and on the side yard. It's just in the front yard. There's a height limitation.
Code wise, you have to have fencing too, with that type of pool in the backyard, correct?
Yeah, and the rear fencing we can approve administratively, majority of the
I saw like in the renderings, there was actual built walls on the side of the property. That's not in the actually happening, that's just in the rendering.
That's in the record. Now, we would have the typical fencing for the pool enclosure. And then obviously, if we propose something in the front, we would go through staff and try to see what is the best design, right?
Understood.
At this point, we're not even thinking about fencing, but.
Sorry to mention, with respect to the AC and the pool equipment being screened, obviously there's AC equipment somewhere on this side, is it not? You haven't gotten that far to show the
We
screen?
show it, it's there, it's on the side, so we are gonna fence it towards our neighbors, yes.
Okay,
It is on, I think, the south side tucked in the building design. And is largely screened in and of itself, just not on the side portion, and then, but it would be with a fence. So-
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
we're not gonna
then
leave-
on the north side, there's a low wall that kind of wraps around the equipment. So in effect, it's already screened as part of that feature.
Okay, so that wasn't an issue then, and then obviously, screening for the pool equipment would come back as part of the application to build a pool.
Sorry.
So what I'd like to do is talk about the garage, the things that are partially meet the criteria but don't. meet. The garage is bigger than it's allowed to be, but I like personally the fact that it's turned so you can't see it from the street. I hate main architectural feature of the house being the garage, and so it personally doesn't bother me that it's bigger than it is. When you're building a house like this big, you need more than a single car garage, and the fact that they put it on the side satisfies my concern with respect to the size. I don't know, you all have comments.
I agree. It's tastefully designed.
I disagree. I believe that, you know, there's a lot of individuals that live in that neighborhood that have to follow the New York. I believe the construction falls under that regulation as well. And I think it should be adjusted to meet that regulation, just like everybody else.
I would just say that the LDR is obviously like the baseline rules, but the idea of this board is that we have discretion and we can use that. I think we should encourage like tasteful design such as this. I think it's good for the neighborhood in general and for the historic district to have new construction that these guys have clearly taken the time to try and adapt to the neighborhood, and it's not just a big box trying to maximize square footage. And so I would tend to be in favor of that and to give them some leeway there. That's just my opinion.
I think just, yeah, so the board has discretion. It is a new construction, which is interesting. Because it does kind of affect the way I look at it. It is the historic preservation board, but it's a new construction, so it doesn't really fall into trying to preserve anything in particular. But you know, I still think the rules should be followed.
I thought they're kind of always that with everything, so
Yeah, I guess I just wanted.
always
I
that.
just wanted to, I don't think they're not bright line rules, otherwise we wouldn't be able to override them. So I just want to emphasize that point.
Yeah, not preserving anything, it's
I tend to agree with staff that this street in particular in that area of Sailboat Bend with the new construction and the police station and the giant apartment complex right across the street from it, like that's been there for years now too. I don't see a massive problem with it.
I mean, 9 feet is the single car garage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's the
And
current
this-
proposed weight?
It's the 18-footer, the next step.
Two of them,
The
right?
double pane.
Yeah, and I mean, how many square feet is this house?
It's AC is around 6,800, but the garages and the terraces and all that, it goes up to 8,000.
I mean, I just think that with a 6,000 square foot house, an 18-foot wide garage is not out of line.
And it's one door that's 18 foot.
Or is it two 18
But
footers?
the 2 doors.
Okay.
So it's a 4-car garage.
Two 18 footers.
Yeah.
And so like the practical effect, if we say it has to be 9 foot, they're just gonna put a column in and it'll be 4 doors.
4 doors.
And I think that would look worse in my personal opinion.
And it would, like, not in the practical that it backing up and, you know, it's
Right.
it's complicated to get 2 cars in there. So, I mean, better is an 18-footer for sure. And we understand that the garage is something that it can't be the first thing you see. So we did turn it. I mean, it's gonna be architecturally, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be clad in wood. So it's gonna be an architectural feature. It's not gonna be a garage. Hopefully.
Okay, and the other issue that staff had an issue with was the sliding glass on the back, which I do have a bigger issue with, and I don't know what y'all discussion with that.
We changed those sliders, to French doors in the front. We didn't, so in the back, we would also, the sliders are also a concern.
Per staff.
According to ULDR.
Yeah.
Uh,
Visible from the right of way.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with the sliders. This board has approved those in previous new construction. I think, again, you buy a waterfront property to maximize your view of the waterfront and accessibility to it, and I think that's what they're trying to do here, in my opinion. And I don't think from a viewpoint, whether these are sliders or French doors, it really doesn't look that different to me. And so personally, I don't have an issue with the sliders.
I think it's important to also remember that just because something was approved in the past doesn't mean it sets a precedent.
Sure.
So we
yeah,
shouldn't be looking at past approvals or denials, we should be looking at it as is in front of us simply. ULDR, the historic preservation district, something that's clearly outlined. When you purchase the home, it's online, the city made a point to put it on there. So you know what you're getting yourself into when you purchase a piece of property or a piece of land inside Silver Bend.
Yeah, I just personally don't think that, you know, that necessarily means that we should limit the value of a property, especially for new construction. Now for like a renovation, maybe that's a different viewpoint, but in a brand new build, that's just my view that it. I mean, they're trying to maximize the value in the home, and again, I think that goes to the. If we're thinking about this from a macro perspective, like how are we gonna attract people to spend new money in this neighborhood, and that's I think one of the ways that we're going to be able to do that.
What's on the, is that the air conditioning?
No, ma'am, that's a.
That's the elevator
That's-
tower?
Entrance to rooftop.
That is the rooftop access. Which we went through zoning and we, it's just, it only contains the elevator and the stand. It's a very simple element, just protrudes out. Nothing, no, the mechanical equipment are on the side.
I guess just one comment, and not necessarily to this particular house, but to new construction and historic preservation in this area. There was a few meetings back, we approved to have a house tore down, which I personally don't think we should have, but you know, it's a vote, and I can guarantee we're gonna see that owner back building a new house. And so then we're not gonna have any historic preservation or rules because we're gonna have new construction. So we're gonna get to a certain point where we're not gonna have any historic preservation in these houses because everything's gonna be new construction and somebody wants a better water view. That's my only concern when I hear some of this, of how far do we go with bending rules of what we allow or we don't allow in these areas. Because to the point, everybody does know when they purchase something in this area, and it was the same thing with that house that we allowed to be tore down, like he knew, and then all of a sudden, oops, needs to be tore down, like, when does it end? That's my only concern with all of this.
I agree with you, because like people allow things to deteriorate and then they come in and they say, oh, well, we can't fix it. But in this case, only because of the very specific street that it's on and the other houses that are the mid-century, these are like the poster children of the mid-century modern so they're very different than anything else in Silver Bend. So that's why I'm looking at this with a little bit more flexibility than I would if it were
Yeah,
because I
that's
totally
just
agree with you.
just a point, not with this particular,
No,
but
I agree with
just
you.
a statement, a general statement.
If you keep allowing them, the old house aren't gonna be there to protect.
Right.
But this is, I agree with you as well, that this is a
It's a very
empty
unique
lot,
little
it's been
street.
an empty lot for a very long time. It is completely overgrown and has been for some years.
Gonna match the other.
It's gonna match with it, and then
Significantly.
also across the river from it as well.
That's my only point is with this one, if we say, oh, well, this, then we're gonna have another one and another, I mean, it's just.
Well, who decides the streets, right? You're saying it's within Silver Bend, but you're gonna make an exception because they live on a certain street.
I think.
And so when does that?
I'm not gonna, you all are gonna be the ones that voted, but my personal feeling was that because it's adjacent to there's not a lot of mid-century modern left in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, if you've ever taken our Docomomo tour, there's very little in the way of mid-century modern left. And this street seems to be sort of epicenter of a famous designer, an architect. And so that's why it's different to me. but I am 100%. Like, you don't get to come in and say, oh, I have to tear this house down because it's old and it's rotting. Well, tough luck you bought it that way, you know. It's,
Where were you a few months?
on the Board of Adjustment. But so I think we're back to the two. I don't know, are there other issues that you all see with this project other than the garage and the my other thing is sliders? Are there other issues that you have that you want to raise that are some that might yay or nay in terms of whether or not you go for this?
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought that was it.
I'm with Shana. I think that they have to evolve. And we're gonna have to expand to be able to handle the attraction for somebody to take on that property. There's going to need to be bigger garages. It's not an old school Tarpon River house anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks silly when it's in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 6,000 square foot house.
And I also think it looks silly with 4 9-foot garages. So
Yeah.
I think the 2 18s is the right way. I think it's right. It's not, I mean, it's not right for a historic area, but it is for it is, and it's not facing the street. I think it does look better on the side like it is. The sliding glass doors or French doors, I don't see a huge problem. It's on the river. It's like yes, it's like a right of way, like in as far as the city's concerned, but it's your view, it's your attraction, it's your kids using the backyard, all the things. Like, and sliding glass doors are pretty Florida historic as well, I think. That makes sense.
I would just give you a little more context from where these two elements are coming from within the code. It's from the sailboat and material and design guideline.
Yeah.
So it's, it's giving a lot of information and very specific information, trying to address all of the properties within Sailboat Bend, but it's a very eclectic neighborhood. So not that it's not applicable to many of the historic properties and not applicable to the like the general sense and feeling, but it didn't cover every situation necessarily.
And Trish, the guideline for sliders is just to the right of way, right? So that would apply to street front and it wasn't necessarily designed in the guidelines for waterfront, or was it just applicable to all right of way?
It just, I mean, I don't know when it was written, what the thought was, but the interpretation of the ULDR is that right of way is anything that is visible from like the street or the waterway.
Got it.
And that the waterway is a right of way. So that is the generally how we review it.
It's a good point that this is a different animal than a lot of the other houses in Sailboat Bend where sliding glass doors would be totally inappropriate. So yeah.
And to be clear, I would not be in favor if the sliding glass doors were on the front of the
Right.
property, the street view. I think it's a little bit different in the back, personally.
I agree with both of those things. I agree that like if this was a different house and it wasn't a new construction, and sliding glass doors would be kind of ridiculous. But and then I agree with you too. I don't like sliding glass doors in the front of houses at all, really. Especially in that district.
So go back to it's in the ULDR, it exists for everyone. If you're looking for an exception that doesn't exist, only can be made here.
I understand, because it says that if that precedent there, it could create, you get the rest of the neighborhood saying, well, he's got it, of course he's got it. He's got the money. And then they're gonna look, what's the point of having a preservation board if they can't follow the guidelines? And to get into, a tug of war with, the different residents that feel like, there's exceptions being made. Might be financially related.
Which we've had discussions on this board. It's been a while about possibly updating the ULDR with respect to some of the materials that are allowed, because like every time we get something, everyone wants to use hardy board instead of natural wood because it deteriorates, and like the board tends to approve that or has tended to approve in the past, and so that's been a topic of discussion in the past too, and maybe that's something that we should bring up.
So
That
good
makes sense.
idea.
That's- sounds like more of a safety issue
Right.
versus these sliding doors. I don't see that as a safety issue. And I think even metal roofs, I don't think it really matches the look, but the safety enhancement in the world we live in today with more hurricanes than usual, more powerful hurricanes than usual. Things that sliding doors, I don't know, I think I've seen it in the past, most of the times, it's not something that goes through, not that that's what we use to make a decision here, but I stick with it, like, if it's there, everyone should be held to the same standards.
So to be clear, you're don't want to do the garage and or the windows? Or do you want, are we saying that you
I
would
think-
want to change the windows to the?
I think the garage-
Back doors to French doors?
I've been sold on your comments on how it's facing towards the inside, it's
Okay.
not visible, right? And so I think it's not something that you're staring at. So it's not a giant garage taking up a big chunk of the front facade. So you can, like, if it was an existing home, I could see like that
100%.
would have made sense, just because they're so relatively size smaller.
Right.
In the back, I think, I think the sliding doors, that's something that could be adjusted to fit the ULDR.
And also the ULDR, that would be sliding glass doors on the second floor, the balconies and the first floor. Is that what that is in the standard for the ULDR?
No,
Or is it just first floor?
so you can see it from the waterway, I think.
So all the balconies and all that would have to be changed as well. Okay.
It's the French.
So French.
Which doesn't go with the design of, I mean, French doors don't go with the mid-century modern design of the building.
That's correct.
Well, I think we've talked about it quite a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion. So I move to approve the resolution for a certificate of appropriateness for new construction under case number UDP HP 26010 located at 351 Southwest 14th Way, based on staff report and findings and testimony we heard here today, subject to the following conditions. One, that installation of new fencing or gate will require a separate HPV application for certificate of appropriateness. In the event human remains or any archaeological materials or features are discovered during a ground disturbing work, that work will be stopped and historic preservation staff must be notified immediately. And third, that the application is subject to approval by building, zoning, and ULDR requirements, including landscape.
We have a motion, is there a second?
What was it, me?
I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at you.
I see you looking at me like.
I mean, anybody can make a motion, doesn't mean you have to vote for it, so.
Doesn't also have 3 seconds, does it?
And this is just
So I'm
to,
looking for a second.
okay,
I don't know if we were ready to get to that part yet.
Yeah, so motion, if someone seconds, then we'd vote.
So I'll
You
say
can,
that.
yeah, if you second it, you can still
Yeah.
have a
So
discussion.
discussion.
Like,
okay.
Jonathan second.
You
This
wanna
John,
have a discussion?
this John.
Okay, discussion, obviously, people are not, 100%.
It just didn't feel like a finished conversation.
Oh.
That, I mean, I just thought, I don't know what a solution could be for the windows. I don't know if the architect could.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys want to vote on the motion, and then if it failed, then we'll go back to discussion. I don't think that personally that this board is in a position to give ideas to the applicant. Either we're presented with their application and we have a discussion and we make a motion to approve or deny with conditions, and I don't think it's necessarily appropriate for us to give them design suggestions.
And Shane, you feel like that was up to them to meet the code on what was
I mean,
going on?
yeah, they presented their application and
They asked for the exemptions. Yes.
Yeah, and I get where Christian's coming from, and again, I, in my mind, I've totally separated a mid-century modern project from the rest of Sailboat Bend, and that's why, if you have a house like, that looks like this, and you're on the river, you need to have windows and doors that give you access to what you've spent millions, I'm sure, of dollars for, and it meets the criteria for the mid-century modern, which is what the street is, so that's why I feel like it it does meet the historic preservation aspect of it because it's a mid-century modern design. And that's why I think it works.
So it doesn't meet the,
Yeah, but
doesn't meet those requirements, which is why we're here.
right,
So
absolutely,
it's not
but
that it's been met,
But
it's-
it-
they haven't.
I didn't say they met
Sorry.
the criteria, they meet the design of a mid-century modern building, because the alternatives that might be permitted don't.
Understood.
So,
Are we still in the in a second?
there was a motion in a second,
Oh, okay,
Jonathan,
sorry.
Jonathan
Oh, you did
seconded,
second.
I'm gonna call for a vote. And I think we should do a roll call. Are you ready? Yes. Vote for is yes to approve the motion. Yes.
Present. You say Mr. Keith?
Yes or no on
Yes.
on the motion, that you
Um,
seconded.
can I hold? Come back around.
Ms. Roberts,
No,
Mr. Gray,
No.
Mr. Lowe,
No,
Mr. Keith,
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it for now.
at the no.
Right.
Okay, Chair Rathburn
Yes.
failed 4-1.
same.
You didn't vote.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I mean, the numbers are still the numbers. Okay, so is there an alternative motion?
Shane has a good point of like, we can't. Our job is to take the application, way it was presented, and then go for it, we can't. Ask or to design architectural changes.
It's up to them.
Fair.
Well, that's why I wasn't giving suggestions, I don't know. That's why with the windows, would there be something to where we could approve with condition?
Can we
Well,
open it up to them
yeah.
and ask them?
Let me just do this first. It sounds like maybe if we bifurcated the motion and did the garage doors as one, that might have had a different outcome.
Garage doors, I think are.
I think, I agree.
Should we-
Garage doors, I think are all-
Bifurcated the motion.
Do a motion to approve it with respect to the
Can we,
You need to do one motion that incorporates everything, because your motion's approving the
certificate of appropriateness.
So you can't say, we're gonna approve it here, but then on this side, we say, we're gonna approve it and this, so you need to do, everything needs to be encompassed in one.
So you
But you could have a condition of approval that
that would
speak to the sliding.
Doors.
So we're all on board for the garage, just we're held up over here with the sliding glass.
you could say like, for example, your motion could have a condition that the sliders be replaced with something and the ULP are compatible, right?
Correct.
That's an option.
You wanna do that?
That's fair.
Thank you.
Should we ask the applicant what their
Yeah.
thoughts are, if they're.
I mean, you
open?
can also,
Keep a.
what we've
Absolutely.
done in the past, in some cases, is the board specify something in particular, like it needs to be French doors or folding doors, or that the applicant should work with staff to identify a door that is not a sliding glass door, but still meets the requirements of the
I
material.
like that
design.
third option, so we're not putting any restraint on them.
Well, let me ask a question,
Agreed.
because I thought I read somewhere in this that if they had some sort of screening over those doors, that would, like an awning or something like that, that would make it, did I make that up?
They're under balconies or terraces, so all these doors are set back in a way, they're not really part of the, they're not even, the front, there's no sliders in the back, so the doors themselves are not even in the front facade, they're even set back even further. The truth is, I'm listening to the board and I understand the concerns, but I mean, if you're, and I understand this is a right of way that is a waterway, and it's true, but I'm thinking about this, when we design this, a French door is really not really the style that would be related to a mid-century home, and our inspiration was to create this to be something that would last. So eventually I can see this board defending this project 30 years from now, hopefully. So that's what I would like to see this happening. If you go down the road and you go to the other homes which are in the street, they don't have they don't have a French door. So we were hoping that this would be something that would be seen as something that in years to come, it would be something that you guys would say, this is a good example of something that was done some time ago. And they would defend it in the same way because we were just trying to keep something that was true to the nature.
So can I ask a question? From a practical perspective, let's say that either French doors or single opening doors were replace the sliders from the naked eye on the waterway.
It would look.
How's it
It would look the
say?
same. It would look.
Because it's just windows, it'll look like
It would-
window glass
it
doors
It would,
as well.
it would have the same frame, it would have the same look. So it would be, if I would understand we were changing the look, but it's not, you would see the same,
Yeah.
same rhythm, the same paneling. Instead of having the slider, you're just gonna have something that opens up, but it's gonna look exactly the same. So the look that is,
So yeah, that was kind of my point. Like, we take these applications and then we put like a personal perspective on it and view it as it, and like to go back and tell them to change the design and to change the materials for something it has no real effect. It's going to look exactly the same. Instead of the handle being up and down, there'll be a handle that you turn sideways. To me, that seems silly and not a good use of resources or time, frankly. But I do understand the ULDR, and maybe I'd be even in favor of requesting it be updated for waterfront versus street view. But I mean, that's really my point there. Like, we could tell them to update it, but I think it's gonna look exactly the same.
it will.
But it'll follow the rules.
Yeah, but again, like,
What's the point?
yeah,
It's the difference between wood siding
But
and composites.
is it?
It's a different, it looks the same. Can you tell from afar? Is that something we're gonna start to make exceptions on as well?
I think we have quite a bit, but I don't think it's a rule. I think it's more of a recommendation, which is again why this board has the discretion to make exceptions. And I think this is a great example of a place where an exception is appropriate. Again, that's just my personal view.
And he made a good point as well about like the rest of the street has sliding glass doors. Like I go out on the boat, like a lot of these houses do have sliding glass doors over the years. This board has approved sliding glass doors over the years countless times. You can see it on the
That's
river.
the problem.
Yeah, but sliding glass doors are also, we agreed with the French door, it won't look good on this house, and it will look, or more to the point of you said, it's just gonna change the handle. It's all it's gonna do, because it's still gonna open up, it's still gonna be all wooden, all window paneled like it is, like it's built, like it's designed.
But the ULDR is not in place for new construction for certain homes. It's there for everyone, right? So you can't make the exception for the one house or because it's already there. You have to go back and change it, and then it applies to everybody.
Sure.
It's not just, just on the river or on the back where it's a waterway. You'll have to change it for everybody. It has to be applicable across the board. So
Well, it
you
doesn't
may
have
not
to,
agree with
right?
what.
Doesn't have to, right? Like that.
Well, it
if
should be.
If someone wants to
Right.
come in here, put sliders on another door, they can come and we'll
And absolutely.
take the application
That's what we
and
vote, and
do it.
that's how it goes. But the ULDR is there to set a set standard.
Yeah, I agree. And I frankly think the ULDR may be arbitrary in this perspective because it makes no difference from the naked eye. And I would even argue that there should be a difference in street view and water view.
I agree with that as
I
well,
think
but
that
not
the only,
what we're gonna do here.
you're gonna use you're just gonna lose some practical usability by having the door open versus sliding in. I think it's,
Yeah, I think if they're gonna look the same, how it opens doesn't make a huge difference to me, but I get your point. But if I'm out on my boat, if I had a boat, on the river and I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the one next door that made it French doors, I can't tell the difference between one and the other, and there's such an expanse of balconies and windows that if
This is a tough one. I think I agree with you, and I agree with you, so I think think it's tough because they like in this single use, on this house, on this street, in this area, I don't have a problem with it per se. But, and I do agree with you as well, that the code itself needs to be changed, so updated to allow things back. And on the waterway being
I felt more comfortable.
I agree.
And we'll clarify that sliding glass doors and windows are allowed on the rear of properties. In general.
Without, as long as it's not on the river.
It's just the visibility.
If you're doing your back of your house on any of the other streets.
And
Right.
it's, the distance between the house and the waterway is what?
It's a lot, and
It's a lot.
the doors are even deeper.
Even further back.
So how
It
much?
sits in those sliders they sit in the middle of the property. So they're a good, I mean, it's 25 plus another 25, they're around 50
That's
feet.
50 feet,
on the
yeah.
water.
I defy you to tell the difference at 50 feet.
Right.
If it's a sliding door or if it's a French door, you know.
If you can put a sliding glass door in a house that's not on the river, you're making it so you can't put a sliding glass door in the house that is on the river.
Right.
Just the right of way.
Because of the right of way.
The right of way?
So
What's it-
I understand that's what's in the code.
think
I
that
just think
needs
that
to be
code needs to be adjusted.
Sure, it needs to be
Before it
adjusted, but
goes
that's
on.
not for us to decide here.
No, that's not for us to
This is
decide
not
here, but
us.
this
Simply make
project
our
is.
individual decisions.
If we think the ULDR is wrong in that perspective, we can approve it and you do it that way.
And
I think so.
from a legal perspective, the river is considered a right of way. Or not.
I haven't seen the definition that's in the statute or in the code relates to that, but I assume if Tricia said that's the definition, that's the definition.
That is the way that we
Interpret it,
interpret it.
but it doesn't necessarily say that.
I'm gonna check it right now.
Okay. Because sometimes things that have been interpreted a certain way are just because they've been interpreted that way.
And I don't know, like, off the top of my head, if it was an interpretation from our zoning administrator at some point, or it's actually written that way in the ULDR, but that is how we practice.
So I was gonna say, but it's not the basis that you follow.
That's not-
That's not what you follow. If it's on the river, it's considered the right of way.
That's how
everything
it
passes.
consistently.
So if you'd like me to read the definition of right of way. Right of way means the surface and space above and below any real property in which the city has an interest in law or equity, whether held in fee or other estate or interest, or as a trustee for the public, including but not limited to any public street, boulevard, road, highway, freeway, lane, alley, court, sidewalk, or bridge.
Question,
So no waterway.
did it say which the city has an interest?
Yes.
City doesn't have an interest in this.
Yeah, this is navigable waterway. I don't think it's.
This is, the new river is a city, not a county or Army Corps of Engineers. The city is the one that does the seawalls and
Yeah,
everything like that.
but who,
It's a navigable
but
Yeah,
water.
but I don't
It
think,
is
I
a
don't
navigable waterway,
think,
100%.
I don't think you block it.
What?
like the city doesn't hold fee simple to.
Yeah, this
No,
is-
it
Yeah.
can't.
Right.
So based on that definition, I would say that this is
Navigable
not
waterway
a,
is-
this is not a right of way. City doesn't own, not an easement, or it's not,
If they hold it fee.
City maintains the parts of it, but not
Yeah,
all of it, and not that, like this, and this project is gonna sell their house. The seawall is the owner's property and not the
so
city's.
based on the definition in city code of what a right of way is. I feel that they meet the criteria because it does not front on a right of way.
Sorry, was that the definition for this code or was that?
And I agree, yeah.
So that makes the total game change. They're not, they shouldn't even be here on that issue in, or
Waterway-
asking for an
waterways and-
exception on
I
it.
did the same search and.
To the water, yeah,
Just says roads.
Right, so if
and
it,
it's not city owned.
if there's nothing that restricts them from having sliders on a waterway, then I think maybe we should make that motion again.
Not to be complicated, but has there been issues in the past with the board with this as far as?
I don't think we've never really delved into
Waterway.
definition
I
of.
know multiple. I mean, it's my neighborhood. I know everyone that
Yeah,
comes to me asking for how do we solve for this? So yes, there's been multiple homes and not new construction, actually remodeling where they wanted to put sliding doors. They got kicked back and kicked back and kicked back.
But now that we've realized, or not realized, but gone over the definition of a pathway, right away or whatever. Doesn't follow that criteria.
Is that the city's official position? Is that the city's official position on what a right of way is?
That's the definition, how staff is utilizing it. Fish told you how staff is utilizing it. The zoning administrator does have the right to interpret that code.
Yeah, we've had that conversation before, if I remember, Gregory was the zoning administrator. And it, you know, I would point out what the code says and he would say, well, that's not how it's interpreted. It's like, okay, Greg, you may interpret it differently, but this is what it says. So I think you have to, you know, I've been a city attorney for 30 years. So yes, it's what's in the code is what controls no matter how you've interpreted it in the past. And it would be a staff thing if you want to change the interpretation, or you want to change the code to meet an interpretation. So I think that now we've discovered that this is not a right of way according to the code. And we would be denying these people a right that they have by right to say, you can't put
By doing this, does this change, like, does it open the door to slippery slope after this, like, we're not going back from it either. So all waterway, like the waterway is just not gonna be part of the coding, or
So
like.
based on this, I would deny this application, send it back to HPB for administrative approval. If that's what it is.
I think
why
we
wouldn't it?
still have to get.
Another delay.
Right, if that's what the right of way means.
But no, you, even if, like, let's say they didn't have sliders, you still have to get approval from this board for major alteration.
But it would no longer fall in here for the sliding doors.
Yeah, but all new construction would have to come in front of this board for approval.
Right, but we wouldn't have
And
this
we still need
conversation
the-
on this particular item. It
garage.
wouldn't be on us.
Still need
Garage.
garage.
You would still have to approve the application for a major alteration.
One more time, you would not have number 2 on there where we talk about the sliding doors, right? So if that's what it is, city would approve it administratively, why not?
It's a application for new construction, and all applications for new construction, like for an entirely new building,
But you-
comes to historic preservation.
But I still have a summary of conclusions, when number
Well-
1 that includes sliding doors not meeting the APR.
We're summarizing the issues that staff identified as part of the review process.
But if we go back to the right of way, if this is what it is, right, if this is what it's supposed to be, it would no longer be a conversation for us. You guys would.
It wouldn't even be on the.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on.
The agenda would still, the item would still be here, but it wouldn't be triggering your system of
So
saying
I
that.
would prefer sending it back.
It might change
to
the staff report, that.
I would prefer sending it back to staff, so it's not a decision that we make here, trying to interpret what the right of way is, we allow the
Sure,
city to decide.
but I think that's like us trying to, you know, kick out our responsibility, we're here. as a board
100%, if we're trying to
We can't-
interpret what the right of way is,
To have, I mean, that's our job, quite literally as a board,
What that change.
to interpret what the
add-
right of way is, after we receive
to.
recommendation by city staff, what it.
Sure, we just heard the city attorney treat it. I think asking the applicant to go back, go through this process, it's not easy. They're paying their architect to be here. To have them go back through this process just to have the staff change the staff report, I think is a futile exercise. And quite frankly, a waste of time. We're here, we can decide it today. It's whether the staff report changes or not, we're still gonna have to vote on it. But we would then be asking these people to jump through a bunch of hoops before we even take it to a.
Yeah, I think the Christian's probably, and I'm gonna speak just to you. I think he's probably concerned a little bit more about the overall community and what their thoughts are.
What's gonna-
Whoever went through.
Guys, we're here
that
today,
process.
we should vote on it. Like,
But
that's our job.
if we just read the interpretation, or we got the interpretation of what the city on this side. They say that the waterway is a right of way.
They're
Right.
interpreting.
They're interpreting what is law, what is code. They might not be interpreting it correctly, but I do tend to agree with him that it isn't our job to change, like to our interpretation of it. Might not be the one that the city is also like agrees with, or like we've already made, this board has sat here and the waterway has been a right of way for all these years under code, because if that's the way it's been interpreted. But are we the ones that, was this board the board that's supposed to
Yeah,
change that?
I think that they document based upon what went down.
If you
Yeah.
read what it says in here, what we're voting on, it's from the public right of way.
That's, the definition and interpretations are wrong.
Well, that's,
If we today change the way we're interpreting it, what changes that down the line on future ones? Where does city land on that? If we're interpreting it the right way that they want us to interpret it? Or if the city needs to change the writing or what? Like, I don't know where that, if we make this vote now and because we're interpreting it a different way, does that open the doors literally for future projects?
That's a big curveball. I mean, what she read out, like,
I agree.
I get it. I'm with you. I'm by the book. That doesn't sound like it's supposed to, like, if, with that interpretation,
Does not.
they're good to go.
So
in my
if,
book.
if
But
you-
I don't believe that's why city staff put it here in front of us. And I don't know if we should be interpreting things as we go on meeting by meeting basis,
I mean,
right? It's something that's
I
existed.
think it's impossible to do this board without interpreting things on a meeting by meeting basis. I agree that we should be consistent. But we heard the city attorney read the definition. I think we should collectively decide whether we think that definition applies here. And whether or not we should approve this application or not.
I'd like to ask Gabrielle to read it again, if that'd be possible. Is that okay, Gabrielle?
Yeah, you know what, I think, let's, yeah. Right of way means the surface and space above and below any real property in which the city has an interest in law or equity, which held in fee or other estate or interest, or as a trustee for the public, including but not limited to any public street, boulevard, road, highway, freeway, lane, alley, court, sidewalk, or bridge.
He said, but not limited to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just read that the second time.
Gabrielle, does the city hold in fee any interest in the river?
That I would not do the answer.
Yeah.
Well, and I
That's what
think, you know,
But
just,
not limited to.
just by giving the examples, none of the examples talk about water.
A bridge, but no, yeah.
Right. Well, bridges to, you know, for a car, but
We need some clarity on it. And like,
We need
if
to-
if the city's considering this as right of way, then they need to clarify it better on their code.
what I'm gonna
Like,
suggest.
because it says limited to,
But not
the
limited
waterways
to.
and canals need to be on that list too, then if that's
But
what they want us.
But Gabrielle said they're not concerned about it. Is that accurate?
Right.
It limited to, so it's not,
So Gabrielle, that city attorney,
But not limited.
would the city consider New River, the navigable portion of the New River, a public right of way?
I would not be answering the question. I'm not gonna say that that is or isn't. I'm not sure of that whole structure with how that waterway is owned / operated. So I wouldn't know who has.
So let's just say, Christian, let's just say we asked them to go back. Trish, how would that play out?
Yeah, I'm thinking unless there's, you know, some sort of consensus to vote a different way. And I don't know, you know, like wink or something. Then it needs probably to go, we need to continue this item to the next meeting. I know you
We
don't
have to
wanna hear
make a
that.
vote either way, I think.
Well, we could vote to continue the item to the next agenda and have
to figure it out.
staff maybe rewrite their report based on consultation with the city attorney's
And
office.
the city attorney needs to figure out in the code if they want, I mean, it needs to get changed,
And I'm
either
sure
include
that's
it
what
or
you
not
don't
to
wanna
include it.
Just so we're fair.
Or,
So Trish, let's just say we asked staff to do that. How does that work practically? Because I just want everyone to understand how it's gonna work before we make a motion to do that.
For us, typically, we get our interpretations through the zoning administrator, who's authorized to interpret the ULDR, not necessarily the city attorney's office. And I will say this is something we've practiced since I've been here, probably before, as far as interpreting the waterway as a public right of way, because it is visible from public view.
I do have a correction. Sorry, there is another definition of right of way. So here's the other definition.
So wait, where
There's
are
a
these
date
definitions coming
So
from?
there.
Ignore everything you just said, right?
One from ULDR, which is part
How
of the
we
code.
operate.
So there,
The one you just read us was from where?
from the code, from the overall code, this is under the ULDR.
Okay. Subset?
Yes. So this definition says right of way is land conveyed or dedicated by plat, deeds, easement, or other conveyance which is devoted to required for intended for the use by the public as a means of public traverse and or public purposes.
So by plat, it's again referring back to
Dedicated
ownership.
by plat, deed, easement, or other conveyance, which is devoted
By the state.
They would have to have conveyed it to the city, which I don't.
Yeah, state owned.
AI says it's not.
Oh, yeah, it says it, well, what, the New River or the
Says
canals?
no, the New River is a natural and tidal waterway running through Fort Lauderdale, not a city right of way.
Yep, that's what I found.
Okay, there's the vote.
The New River, yeah, so the.
If you meant right of way in terms of navigation rules for boats and ships traveling on the river, standard maritime rules apply rather than municipal zoning laws.
Okay, I think we have the ULDR
They're all
definitions and we have
And
a,
AI.
and AI. Let's not even go to AI. But I think that they don't need to ask for an exception for the because it's not a right of way.
And Christie can go back to the neighborhood and say, we AI.
And then the other, like the other houses and on other canals that are man-made still follow that line.
And those.
This is
but a
not
lot
a man-made canal. This is this is.
Canals are by plat. Which is a totally different story than this, because this is
If it
not,
was on the road before.
yeah, this was not created by the.
It's not owned by us. I think so staff needs to remove it.
Or do you wanna remake your motion, or
Sure.
nobody else wanna make a motion?
I will, do I need to read it again, or can I just remake the same motion?
I think I have it here, conditions 1, 2, and 4, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Shane makes a motion to approve based on the conditions,
No,
previously
this is a
stated.
different one.
No, it's right.
1, 2, and 4?
It has it right. They're not numbered exactly right.
Yeah,
on this.
Oh, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's.
Okay, okay.
Okay, is there a second to Shane's motion?
Second.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, alright, roll call. Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
No.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes.
Pass 5 to 1.
Alright.
Just-
We all learned.
It's not owned by the
today.
state. It's not owned by us. Like, it's a. If another canal, then yes, but the New River isn't owned by.
Good.
Yeah.
Majority rules.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I really liked that the
Just
garage had an
clarify.
architectural feature to
Yeah,
it,
we
that
did this.
helped a lot, the garage doesn't look like a garage, it looks like a design feature, that's really nice.
Thank you.
Don't make it ugly.
I'll fight that. Thank you so much.
Thank
Something else on
you.
the agenda.
Here we do, we have, no, it's a presentation, I believe, that presentation. Yes.
Let's get this
Okay,
done.
Yes. And before I forget, this fell out of my brain, our next meeting will be at the new police station, headquarters, so we'll start meeting there, which is on the Sailboat Park District. And we'll send out information prior to the meeting as far as where to park and how to get in the room and all that stuff, so. Don't come here, go there, we'll try to like send reminders ahead of time. But all of the boards and committees, and city commission are now moving over there.
You have to get there early because you have to get through security.
Yeah, I'm not
Park's not
sure,
easy
like,
either.
when it comes to the boards and committees, it won't be as stringent as it is with the city commission. Yeah. But we will learn as we go.
Show up early the first one.
Yeah, and if you haven't been there yet, it's very nicely done. There's like a dais that you all will be able to sit at, and I think it'll be a different environment versus the small conference room.
Do you think there's gonna be anything on the agenda for that meeting?
Yes,
There, oh, that's always good.
we do have one anticipated item for sure, yeah. And then, so I just wanted to give you kind of a brief update on a project that we've been working on for Sailboat Bend and a streetscape master plan. So we move my slide. So 2 years ago, we did a vision plan for the neighborhood. It came out with multiple different sections focusing on different topics with like sea level rise and streetscape design, community identity, planning, and then parks and recreation. It was a process of getting public feedback and information put into a report that's available on our website. In the next slide. And one aspect that feedback was collected on was street design and intersection design. And the consultant looked at multiple different roadways and intersections and got feedback on, could we change the design of this? Should there be more plantings, on-street parking, less parking, direction of travel? So they collected all of that, and then next slide. They ultimately put together a list of different initiatives that are kind of translated overall in this map. But one of the aspects that was identified as something to move forward with from this plan was a streetscape master plan to kind of try to provide cohesion to the overall neighborhood through streetscape elements. Next slide. So we have a consultant that we've engaged with to prepare the streetscape master plan, and we're kind of midway through at this point. We started with them back in March, and we're looking to probably completely finish by early next year. We're currently in the process of reviewing their draft report. Next slide. So maybe sooner than that, but we don't always know. So the first thing that we did with the consultant and the association was do kind of a walkthrough or drive through, because it happened raining that day, of the neighborhood with them to just let them get a good sense of the existing conditions and the streetscape as it is today. So this is just a few photos of what kind of some of the streets look like. And then next slide. And we went through a 3-day process earlier this year in June, and did an open house. We did a charrette that included different divisions and departments throughout the city, as well as members of the Civic Association. And then we did a presentation on the preliminary concepts. Good. Yeah. So the open house, we collected feedback on different elements to kind of get a sense of what members of the neighborhood liked or disliked through the different dots. As you can see, there was opportunities to put your own notes on the boards. And then the consultant took this at the open house, in the next slide, and started the charrette. So the charrette was, for them, a 2-day process where they did a lot of sketching. We invited everybody in one afternoon to kind of do some initial commenting on those development of drawings. The next slide. And this is kind of some of the preliminary concepts that they developed that they did give a presentation on the 3rd day. So it was very intense 3-day process with the consultant. And the next slide. And just to show you a couple of things that they had initially come up with, one aspect that was identified in the previous vision plan, and then they're further kind of enhancing and building on, is alleyways that are located within the historic district and how they could potentially be enhanced or better utilized, and how the neighborhood responded to that as a concept, the city responding as a concept, because it's ultimately translating into a maintenance aspect that the city would have to maintain, or a property owner would have to maintain if it were to be enhanced. And then one other focus area that I'll just show you really quickly is the Waverly Park and Tecumseh Park, or Waverly Road next to Tecumseh Park and William Lauderdale Park, and kind of forming a connection in that location. So they started to develop some ideas around that, removing the street along Waverly Road, making the park more of a seamless connection, removing parts of the wall, and then creating an access point to the single family home that's located at the corner of 11th and now Waverly Road. So they were trying to come up with a solution that, made that more of a seamless area, provided some on-street parking, created solutions to how traffic flowed within that specific location. There's also some issues with flooding or pooling of water, particularly at that intersection right there. So they were taking a look at a lot of those aspects. And then they did form a website that they were collecting some feedback on. I think it's still open if you want to provide feedback for a continued online survey. But now they developed the initial report. We meet every other week to kind of go over different solutions and refine that language. And then eventually we'll go back to the public to present what the report is. And then, yeah, and then that's it. That's really it. I think they've done a really great job of coming up with the draft solution. So I'm excited to eventually share that with you all. But I think our next step is go back to the Civic Association, share it with them, continue to get some feedback on that preliminary draft, take it to the City Commission, and then ultimately have a final report later or sometime early next year. Any questions? No.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah. A lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be the way they're putting it together. I think it'll be a nice resource when we do have like new development come in or opportunities to redevelop a section of roadway because maybe there was some public works project that happened in that location and we can put it back the way we want. So that's kind of our intention with it, and to create some consistency over time and just make it more pedestrian friendly and neighborhood friendly. But a lot of areas within Sailboat Bend are just, they're so nice to walk around right now. So making sure that's consistent throughout the neighborhood. That's really all I have. And so you can adjourn.
Yeah.
So we needed your.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll favor.
My next meeting is October 5th.
Your director.
Oh, no, you're right.